right, so we were just talking about how our lady guests here tonight have that international flair. But seriously, the Filipino women, since they have also been going abroad to work, all over the world, they have also gotten that that international feeling. I don't know how you'd call it, but
yes,
they've been exposed.
Definitely those that travel, regardless actually if they're OFWs or
professionals,
or professionals.
doctors, nurses.
Once they've seen other countries, they become much more international. I had a yaya who is now in Saudi Arabia who speaks Arabic and who cooks Arabic, so that's definitely added to her skill set as well.
I think that's the best lessons that you can learn when you travel, and then you see other cultures, you pick up another language,
But I think you also become much more independent. In the Philippines, especially children are often raised to be very dependent on their families around them. For instance, in Europe, my nephews and nieces, they travel by themselves all over the world by the time they're 18. That's very rare here. But that adds to their sense of independence, whereas Filipino children are often kept very much part of the family. But once they've been abroad and they've learned that they can travel by themselves, that it's not that difficult, they become much stronger people, I find.
Especially if, they speak English. So
of course, it's easy.
It's easier for the Filipinos.
Yes, it's easier because at every airport in the world they'll speak English.
What's great also is that not only they travel and come back here and share it with all their local friends, also as them traveling out, especially like we're from California, we have a lot of Filipino citizens there as well who are fulfilling really, really important jobs, and that especially in the medical field. And it's really great to see how hard they work. And as an American person, it's really good to also learn from them. So not only they learn from the outside, actually it's more of a sharing. We get to learn a lot from them of how they approach the tasks, how they approach the information that they receive. And the information that they have learned in Philippines, they share it back to, to
well, not for anything, but, I've had this feedback about the caregivers. A lot of the foreigners in their own respective countries prefer to have Filipino caregivers because they don't look at the time, okay, it's 5 o'clock, gotta pack up my bags and out of the door, but they go that extra mile.
And they do it with so much love.
Exactly.
With so much love.
Filipinos are naturally
caregivers.
are natural caregivers because they do care. That's very true. They make the best nurses, the best caregivers to take care of older people, which is something we do very poorly in Europe. We don't take very good care of our parents, and they often get...
So that's why even the Filipino, they have that good reputation, being the global Pinoy, right? They could adjust to the different cultures and environment where they go to.
Yeah, they do integrate very easily, I think, into most cultures.
But as a foreigner, was it difficult for you to adjust here in the Philippines?
No, it was, even 25 years ago, everybody speaks English, people like you, they're willing to help you, I drive myself.
Without even your asking, they want to help you.
Yes.
I mean, I drive myself, and the few times I've ever got stranded somewhere, people actually stop to help. People offer. One lady once I was stuck by the side of the road in the rain. One lady just gave me her umbrella. She couldn't help me at that point, but she just gave me her umbrella. So many people stopped, which they wouldn't be doing in Europe anymore. They wouldn't stop to help you. They just expect you to call up the local automobile club to tow you.
To tow you. What about you, Zhenya?
Well, I think that also because not only that, I think because back in Europe, and we live in such a fear, where here we don't have that. I mean, I don't have that.
No,
I mean,
actually,
I really don't.
I really don't either.
Before, when we were coming here, of course, there's warning signs back and forth, you know,
right.
don't do this, don't
No,
go
because
there,
what the
don't,
media
yeah, what
also,
the media shows
especially the
everywhere.
ones in Mindanao.
But when you actually arrive, I mean, yeah, the first, of course, certain precautions you take when you travel anywhere in the world, but overall, I mean, again, because of the warmth of the people, I think, what gives you really like, it doesn't, you know, you don't feel it.
No,
you don't
no,
feel
but
that
for
way.
example, you're already, you know, like, been exposed to a mix, what do you say, mixed cultures, like Russia,
Correct.
U.S., you
U.S.
know.
and then in the U.S. we've exposed to almost every culture you can think of because
Yes,
it's all
but,
mixed.
but I know that the older generation of Russians, for example, are very suspicious of people, you know, in a way that my personal experience is we have a lot of Russian tourists here. And
Yes, now, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and once in a while I bump into some of them or hear them talking Russian while walking.
Yeah.
And I would offer to help,
Yeah.
and right away they're, okay.
A little nervous, correct. Yeah,
Nervous,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
what do you want? You know,
Yeah,
something like that.
It is, but I mean, I'm like you, Virginia. I've never really been scared on a situation where I was really worried. And a lot of it is just common sense. There are things you wouldn't do in certain areas in Europe, so you shouldn't be doing them here either.
True.
And if you go down to Divisoria, you just know it's an area where there are a lot of poor people. So obviously petty criminality will be around. Huh? But then you take care. You don't wear your expensive jewelry. You don't take your expensive phone. Huh? You take everything off and you act accordingly. And so I've actually never been really scared here.
And living more of as a, I mean, I'm a biggest approach of living more of a humble life.
Exactly.
So in
yeah.
that sense, it's kind of
Yeah.
like, yes, you don't show off in your best car and your best outfit maybe in certain areas, but it kind of, it flows with my lifestyle. So
Right.
for me personally, it makes it very easy to adjust to that level. And you know, that's
Low
what I really
profile.
like. Low profile, yes, you know, in a good way.
It
But
is. Low profile is good in the country.
it's good, you know.
Well, talking about you know, your lifestyle, maybe you can show off one of your creations which you're wearing.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
the versatility of it.
Yeah, the versatility of it. So this is one of the jackets that you guys already seen me wearing in one of the pictures. So it starts off as a coat like this, and I'm not going to zip it up at this particular moment, but it's a long coat that you can actually wear it, you know, inside or outside.
Right.
And then with a simple conversion of just taking it off,
Oh, okay.
add the
That's cute.
waist. Now I'm having a crop jacket.
Okay.
Now, of course, again, as I said, all of our items are reversible, so, and every piece that you detach, you can actually has a function to it.
Okay.
So you can re-snap, you know, you can re-zip it back into the skirt.
That's right.
Or you can actually, because everything is reversible, you can actually just reverse
Everything
it.
is reversible.
Reversible.
Okay, beautiful.
So you can actually just reverse it out as well.
Okay.
And then you can have the sets where you have the, you know, matching sets. So I can
Right.
reverse the skirt one way and then the jacket the other way and
Right.
so forth.
So even the jacket is reversible.
Is reversible as well.
That's
and Then, you know, you
beautiful.
can, because we also think of different heights of people. So
Like-
in
like
order
my
for you
height
to
and
do
your
the
height.
alteration in this case, you'll just remove the sleeves, and then
Okay.
you'll have your, you know,
Hey,
shorter
that's
sleeve as
cute.
well.
That's, yeah,
So
that's
it's
so
very
cool.
functional. It's great for the travelers, and that's
Okay.
what actually it's also focused on, is on the traveling end, because
Okay.
I think we have been really mobile, and we've been all traveled the world. I mean, you know, maybe back in the days
Yeah,
we all
yeah.
were kind of like stuck in one area. Now
Right.
we're really exploring. Everything is relatively affordable to travel, and we want to make sure.
Except you have to watch out for the luggage allowance.
Yes,
Nowadays,
which
yeah.
this is
This is-
exactly
yeah.
what this is for.
Yeah.
Don't need to carry around now 20 million suitcases.
Right.
You have one carry-on with several convertible pieces that you do different things with,
Right.
and you all set. But also on top of it, being in Philippines, what's great about this whole thing, it's also very economical, because this is for, I'm portraying that to the whole world, because we've wasted so many resources just in general every day-to-day life. Instead of having 20 different items of clothing that you end up wearing once or twice, and then
Right.
you maybe pass it on to someone, which great in Philippines, we pass on things to
Right,
everyone.
That's right.
But in many different cultures, it's not a common practice. So then you waste it, right? You're going to go throw it away most likely. I mean, hopefully you'll donate it. But in this case, you can have several items, but still have the same wardrobe of
Right, and mix
gazillion
match
things
it.
and mix match and do all
Right.
these different things.
Yeah.
And again, it's bringing the resources and really becoming economical as a human being,
Right.
to be able to portray back to the to the world.
And it doesn't really go out of fashion.
It doesn't. We
Right.
really focus on making it everything timeless, and we cater to pretty much any type of a woman. We don't have size restrictions because a lot of our garments actually one size fit all. From
And is
petite-
it?
It is from
Right.
petite
That
to plus
one
size.
would-
This particular jacket, but most like all of our wraps and then all of
Okay.
our cardigans that turn into all these different things.
Okay.
They're all one size fit all.
So just in case, Evgenia, maybe you can share your website where they could,
Yeah, you can
know,
go to
check you out online.
YAY Designs with an S at the end.com.
YAY.
YAYdesigns.com, and you could find out our product and what it does and all the different functionalities to it. You can subscribe to our newsletters to find out what's new coming up, because we're always coming up with something new and innovative, and we always appreciate other people sharing with us what they have found out and how they've converted even their own personal clothes in the closet. Because again, it's the experience that you share with each other, right? We learn from each other. It doesn't matter if it's a young kid or if it's a more mature woman. We all learn from each other, and that's what I portray for that. Is we always should be opening our eyes and ears near each other, because you'll never know what you learn.
Exactly. Yeah. You never stop learning.
You never
actually.
stop learning.
Right. And you're wearing, Karen, it's something like the Delft.
Yeah, it does look Delft, but
Right,
actually,
it is,
it's actually
which
fabric
is
I bought
Dutch,
here.
very
Yeah.
Dutch, right?
It's
Yeah.
fabric I bought
The blue
here.
and white,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the blue and white Delft
right.
pottery. Yeah.
Right.
It's a dress I made myself.
Okay.
Fabric I bought here. So
Oh, and then
Yeah.
you made it yourself.
I do. And
So you have that passion also for
Oh yeah,
sewing.
I've always sewn my own clothes.
Oh,
I'm not a
really?
designer though, and I never studied design because I didn't think I was actually creative enough or innovative enough.
That's why we match
Yeah,
so well.
that's why we work well together.
the designer.
the
So-
designer with the
Right.
creative end.
So I took up business in college and university because I figured, well, then I can always go and work for a fashion company, which I did in the end. But I teach sewing to people who want to sew themselves.
Okay, so how did they get in touch with you if they want some sewing lessons?
What's my email address? No, my
All
email
right.
address. I know my email address. It's welovesewing@gmail.com.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
We love sewing at
At
gmail.com.
And but I teach specifically people who want to sew for themselves. Because of course in the Philippines you have very good dressmakers and there are schools specifically for them.
Right.
But that's a different skill. Sewing for other people is different to sewing for yourself.
Yes.
Or sewing in a factory. You've got so many garment factories here too. But those are different skills. So I teach people how to make their own patterns, excuse me, how to sew for themselves so it fit. I have a
Right.
frog in my throat. Because sewing is also my passion.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also one way of relaxing, like a hobby.
It's
But-
definitely a hobby, and it's a great hobby because once you can sew, it's not only your clothes, you can make clothes for your children, you can repair things, you can
Right.
refashion things.
Okay.
Like if you're getting us clothes, you can wear three different ways. But the clothes you wear, you can make three different ways too.
Or just a simple conversion.
Yeah, if you've worn a ball gown, I'm sure you have a lot of events. So you have a ball gown made, and then maybe you can't wear it to the next
No,
one because it's the same
exactly.
people again.
Right.
So you can take the top off and wear it as a skirt.
Yes.
Or you can hike it up and wear it as a dress, or if it's
It's all about the little
Yeah.
touches of restyling that women, as individuals, we could do to really just make ourselves look different every single time without going and spending more money
No.
and then spending more resources and buying more
Exactly.
clothes and so forth.
And
So
here you're actually lucky if you can't sew yourself. You've got the local sewing lady around the corner who'll do
yeah.
it still.
But in the
relatively
States,
cheaply.
if you have something altered, it costs a lot of
it
money.
costs
It
a
does.
lot of money to do
Right.
it, of
Yeah.
course, and it's
So that's why a lot of people also learn how to sew themselves,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, too.
It's especially when in Europe now, sewing is really, really coming back. With all the cheap fashion Evgenia was talking about earlier, with Hennes & Mauritz, which is now coming to the Philippines, Forever 21. It's also cheap. But people now are moving back to wanting something quality, which will last longer. And then, it's worth repairing. you know, if the hem falls down, you
Yes,
should know how
yeah.
to hem it yourself.
No, personally, I
yeah.
love vintage stuff.
It's,
you
it's
know.
the skills
They
that
don't
are being
make it like they
forgotten.
used
Yes,
to.
and it's the skills that's been forgotten. That
is,
it's
yeah.
time to bring it back.
Yeah.
I mean, but there was a value for it for a reason, and years over years over years, people really valued that one garment that they would buy. There was a reason for that, right?
Right.
Because it really showed how much work have been put into that one particular piece.
Well, a friend of mine, a designer, Lulu Tangan.
Oh yes, yes, I know.
You
She
know,
makes-
Lulu,
yeah, yeah, I
right?
know.
So she also takes the old barongs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then she incorporates it in such a way that it becomes contemporary.
Yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
You can, yeah.
beautiful because then, you know, the embroidered, the hand
Yeah,
embroidered
hand
embroidered,
barongs.
yeah.
You don't want to throw it away.
No, of course
But you
not.
don't also
No.
know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
No, and that's very true because the clothes that belong sometimes to you, well, vintage to your mother, it might not fit you, but with some skills, it can easily be downsized or
Yes.
shortened or
Right.
lengthened with additional trims or additional fabrics. And in the Philippines, you're still very lucky. Fabrics are relatively affordable here. Not in comparison to Europe, where fabrics are horrifically expensive,
or even the States.
or in the States.
Yes, yes, yes. Unless you live in Los Angeles or
Yeah.
like
The garment
New York,
district,
in
yeah.
the garment district,
Right.
you kind of are limited to great fabrics that you can
Yeah.
find for good prices. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But here, I mean, just as an example, I saw this fabric for 400 pesos in Glorieta.
Oh.
But then I've become kuriput over the years. And I thought 400 pesos was a bit expensive just to add to my pile of fabrics at home.
Right.
So I didn't buy it. And then I saw it later somewhere else for 50 pesos a yard.
Oh,
So I said,
really?
50 pesos a yard?
Yeah, okay. Go for
Yeah,
it.
go for
Karen
it.
really knows where to go to. I mean, she have introduced me to those
You've been to
places.
Divisoria?
Yes,
I've taken her to
Divisoria. I went to
Divisoria.
Divisoria. I was actually amazed with tie-tie.
Oh,
They-
tie-tie.
Yes, there's
Yeah,
actually an
that's-
incredible
Right,
selection of
yes.
fabrics that you could get
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
by the
nothing.
kilo, right?
By the kilo.
And
By
then
the
you can
kilo.
have it. You can have it sewn there by the women.
Yes,
Yes,
that was so
yes,
interesting.
yes.
It's an amazing place.
Yeah.
And
I was really
Can
impressed.
I come the next time?
Yes, we go together. We'll make a field trip.
you know, it's, my husband always laughs at me because when I tell people I go to Divisoria at least once a month, Filipino friends goes, you go to Divisoria? And okay, why not? It's a great place.
It's an
People are great,
adventure.
Yeah,
You never know what you'll find.
yeah, and it's mind-boggling the products they have, and there definitely are
Yes.
things there you just cannot get anywhere else. I
That's
would
true.
say not everything is cheaper there. There's some things where you can find cheaper in SM, for instance. So certain things you have to know.
Yes.
You just have to know the price.
Right.
But some things you just cannot get anywhere else in the Philippines,
True.
except in Dasmariñas.
And it's great because
Divisoria.
this way you can actually help into the local markets.
Yes, and
You know,
like you
we-
said,
in
you know,
supporting them out,
it will
yeah.
help also employment. You
Of
know,
course.
generate employment,
Yeah,
and
of
that's
course. And that's the number
empower,
one key.
especially the women,
Of
once
course.
they are independent.
Most
Of
of the people working in stores and with businesses in Divisoria are women. Huh?
Yes, true.
Yeah, it's a great
And the
place.
ones in Taytay, I'm sure, are also women.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, ladies, thank you so much for joining me
You're
this
very
evening, sharing your international flair and your impressions about Philippines, Filipinos. You know, thank you so much.
Thank you
very
so much for
having us.
Yes.
All right, well, don't be shy. Let me know what new things you have on your
Well,
plate.
next time-
Coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely take you with us when we go to Divisoria.
No, Taytay. I know
Taytay,
Divisoria.
Taytay,
yes.
Taytay.
It's
Okay.
definitely an amazing place.
So thank you for joining us this evening. This is Consul Aneta Blan. Join us next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. I will have the bonsai Ikabono group that would share also their expertise on flower arrangements. Good night.